Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Always On, How Mobile is Changing Consumer Loyalty. Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha from Glossy, and I'll be your moderator. Today's webinar is sponsored by Vibes. Vibes enables brands to engage one-on-one with today's hyper-connected mobile consumer at scale by arming them with the technology and expertise they need to succeed in mobile marketing. Through the Vibes mobile engagement platform, marketers can easily manage all mobile communication channels, including text messaging, mobile wallet, push notifications, and mobile web campaigns. We're joined today by Dave Baldwin and Dave Panic. Apple Pay's Dave Baldwin specializes in results-oriented business development. He's a marketing and operations executive with startup, high growth, and turnaround experience within technology, telecommunications, and retail industries. Dave Panic is the VP Product Marketing at Vibes and has 25+ years of MarTech experience in building high-performing, progressive marketing organizations that can scale. He leads the go-to market planning at Vibes, aimed at driving focused, story-based content initiatives that uniquely engage mobile customers and prospects across the journey. Let's quickly go over the agenda. Today we'll be talking about how Apple Pay is revolutionizing how brands interact with consumers, how to identify loyal customers across different channels in the digital landscape, how marketers can increase loyalty through automatic loyalty enrollment. A question and answer period will follow the presentation, so please stay with us until the end. Feel free to submit questions at any time via the GoToWebinar platform. Everyone who registered for today's webinar will also receive an email with a recording of the session tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Okay, let's get started. At Glossy, we see brands such as Sephora, Patagonia, and Nordstrom increasing their digital loyalty efforts this year. Tell me, David Vibes, in your opinion, why is digitizing loyalty more important now than ever?
Yeah, great question. And first of all, great to be here and talking about how mobile is changing digital loyalty going forward. Obviously the headline says it all, right? Mobile is status quo. Customers want engaging experiences that traditional loyalty programs just can't deliver. Think about traditional loyalty. They can't be personalized. They can't be dynamic. You can't have that one-to-one experience. And with so many paper-based loyalty programs available, it's really critical to be able to engage and maintain your most loyal audience. And clearly, data supports that. In fact, 83% have a positive impact on a brand when it's engaged or engaging. And that means how you do personalized loyalty messaging, using points and rewards, exclusive content, things of that nature. And by creating a mobile loyalty experience, you're really creating a customer-first experience. Whether they are doing something that's in the store and you want to drive that engagement at that point, people are always on their phones, so to be able to make that experience available and attentive to that moment is incredible. And also, you want to be able to surprise and delight your consumers with holistic brand experience. And the digital mobile experience allows you to do that. And by going digital with your loyalty programs, you're connecting the in-store and digital experience. When you think about it, when you don't have those two things tied together, you can have a complicated enrollment process at the point of sale if it's paper-based. Usually it's riddled with an outdated process that uses paper and pen. This creates a terrible experience that causes a lot of bad data as part of that. And this can create more human errors and manpower to fix a problem. So your cost of ownership to maintain those traditional systems go up. So by mobilizing loyalty, it's a win for the retail world. You get increased revenue, increased customer lifetime value, increased acquisition, and you're able to drive those repeat purchases. And then because of that, it's also important to really focus on those high margin, non-competitive products where obviously with loyalty, there is going to be some margin giveaway at the end. And so it's really critical to get the value out of it and the ROI that you want from it to focus on that.
And then go. We keep hearing about brands wanting to adopt digital wallets and other digital tools to create a seamless customer shopping experience through mobile that increases sales. How does Vibes define a mobile-first loyalty strategy, and how do you see mobile loyalty being a game changer for brands?
Yeah, a mobile-first loyalty strategy, first of all, really it involves multiple mobile channels, right, such as SMS, MMS, push notifications, as well as mobile wallet. And it's been proven out from our recent mobile wallet report that we know about 48% of consumers cite SMS as a preferred means of receiving loyalty messaging. Further, about 57% of consumers are interested in using mobile devices to check their point balances. And then when adults are more likely to join a loyalty program, it's about 73% when they're able to automatically update and provide that immediate visibility into those cards within mobile wallet. Plus, we know that retailers' customers are asking for it. 72% would be interested in using digital loyalty cards, and that brings it with a much more positive brand perception to the tune of 70%. And for brands, digital loyalty can be a game changer. It addresses store traffic, so the more you're able to engage in that from a digital perspective to guide them into the store will help with stagnant redemption rates, either within the digital side through e-commerce or through the physical stores. It helps drive member conversions and conversations, right? Because you're able to do things in a dynamic way, in a much more conversational way. It stops customers from going to your competitors because you have driven that brand engagement, which is top of mind to those consumers. It increases loyalty at a faster pace. The more that you can drive a real-time conversation and be able to use that, you're going to be able to drive redemption at a much higher rate than you have in the past. And then with this, of course, you have lower loyalty and acquisition costs, right? You're able to save on printing and mailing of those direct mail pieces that go out associated with the programs, and it's certainly one of a key benefits aside from all the execution part of it is, but one of the great things about having all your loyalty available on your phone, it creates a digital hub, right? A digital content hub. So all your offers, your loyalty cards for particular brands are right there grouped by the brands that are most important to consumers.
Dave, those are some great benefits to why mobile loyalty is a game changer for brands. Now let's talk about the mobile channels. How would you recommend that brands interact with customers across different channels in the mobile landscape to increase loyalty?
Yeah, so when you think of the power of mobile wallet, it opens up avenues of opportunity that brands and customers didn't have before. And those benefits go a long way. For example, offers and loyalty cards are typically the consumer's most desired wallet features. And so the more that you're able to get them to the mobile wallet to be able to leverage those, the better off you are. We know from our own data that coupons and offers for both Apple Pay and Google Pay see in-store redemption rates as high as 30% when they're digitized. And then once they're saved, that mobile wallet content is a constant brand presence on their phone. Much like when you go and do a boarding ticket, that data and that content is always living there to be used and updated at any time by the brand. And because it's digital and dynamic, all notifications can be scheduled or location triggered, for instance, when you're walking by a retailer. The great thing, of course, about this is that mobile wallets come pre-installed on all iOS and Android devices. So, here's a great screenshot and visualization of what's going on. So you have Apple Wallet on the left and Google Pay on the right, and you can see it's very visual to be able to go in and leverage it and to be able to take that into the store or use it in an e-commerce experience. And it's made super easy to manage that content. For example, a lot of ways that brands and retailers will onboard to digital loyalty is start with some other digital channels. In this case, it's with email, right? So for example, with an email that's sent, you simply click on the link within that email, add it to the wallet, and that creative and that content will be automatically added to the wallet for use within the store or in the e-commerce presence. And you can also use other digital channels as well, right? So here's a great example of how you can leverage social, right? So this is a particular social ad that's displayed. And if you see and look at the bottom left side, there's a Get Offer button on there. Once you click on that, that will power the ad's call to action. And then the offer is automatically saved to mobile wallet at that particular point in time. Right, so this is another great way to leverage social and mobile together to create that lasting appeal for those mobile loyalty offers. And when you think about social, you can also extend it to loyalty membership signups as well, right? So this is another example where an ad is being presented via social and Facebook, and you simply click on the sign up button there. And it starts a very quick and easy onboarding process where you're asked to pull in information. This also could be leveraged from your MyCard information as well as on your phone. And then once it goes through that process, adds it to your phone, it connects your data to the backend loyalty system, adds it to the loyalty system, and boom, you have that card accessible at that point in time just through a couple of clicks on your phone. So a great way to onboard and drive up those loyalty memberships. And then here's another way when you extend it beyond some of the owned ads that might be existing with a particular brand. When you get into the paid side, certainly you can do things such as starting the enrollment process or the engagement process through third-party banner ads. Here's an example of where you see an ad showing up within the ESPN mobile website. And again, when you see that Save the Phone offer come up, all you have to do is simply click on that, and that will tap and create a call to actions to allow you to save that particular mobile wallet ad onto your phone, and it's saved and ready for use when you go into the store or use it through an e-commerce site. And you can also, when you combine and look at the overall app flow, now that I've gone through it, step by step, and you can see it's quite easy. It's as simple as a customer taps to sign up for a program. The customer fills out that information in the form, and then that customer will be instantly registered within the loyalty system, and then that digital card will be accessible for them for their purchases going forward. And when you think about beyond loyalty and just using a digital wallet to save offers, it's much in the same way, the same process. So again, you'll see that particular ad or link that will come up within the brand. The user then just has to tap on it. They will be taken to an offer page where they can tap and save that offer directly to their mobile wallet. And again, that a user's offer will then be available in their mobile wallet for use, across the physical and digital worlds with that brand. So again, very quick and easy to be able to leverage that once it's installed. The other great thing about this too is once, as I mentioned before, once that particular ad is added to the wallet, you now can create notifications to get them more engaged about that. You can provide geo-based notifications when they walk by the retailer, so that they can leverage it if they haven't. So there's a lot of ways beyond just adding it to the wallet to drive that engagement. What's also cool about the digital wallet experience is that you can really maximize your in-store experience as well. And here's an example where simply a signage is posted in the store. A customer would receive that in-store call to action. And usually, typically, it might start by texting to receive an exclusive offer. In this case, it's just text to buy one, get one to 82437. So when a customer goes ahead and does that, a text message will be received on their phone, all they have to do is simply click on the link associated with that text, and that will add that particular offer to mobile wallet. And so it's a great way to drive engagement on digital device using in-store experiences.
Now that Dave Panic touched upon how Vibes helps brands drive loyalty, let's talk about how Apple is revolutionizing how brands interact with consumers. Dave Baldwin, what are the latest Apple Pay capabilities, and how do these come into play when talking about loyalty?
That's great. We appreciate that, and welcome everybody who's joining. Love the opportunity to present, how we're innovating and how we're thinking about this space. So when we think about the Apple Pay platform, we really think about Apple Pay, the platform itself, as an ability to engage with consumers where and when they want to, and it's really about turning shoppers into buyers and greater conversion, and that can be in store, it can be online, and it can be in app. In the same token, as you saw from what Dave shared, we also view wallet and passes as a really strong means to engage with consumers when they're also out of the store. And so the ability to do real-time updates, change balance information, present offers through lock screen notifications, we think is a really powerful tool that a plastic loyalty card or a plastic stored value card just can't do. And then I would say, what we're going to share today is we're really going to talk today about sort of Apple Pay broadly and how that is sort of changing the user experience in store, online, and in app. And then we're really going to touch upon the stuff that the Vibes team is doing around automatic loyalty enrollment, and we'll share with you the use cases of why we think that's interesting. So the Apple Wallet, Tim Cook came on stage in 2014 and set a pretty audacious goal, which was we were going to replace this physical wallet. When we think of Apple Pay, we really think of two foundational elements. One is security and privacy, so we don't know what you bought, where you bought, or how much you spent. And then the other side of that experience is the user experience, which we really value. A lot of people, we're also a retailer. So when Apple thinks about innovation for us is solving real world problems and enhancing experiences to drive new behaviors. Our Apple retail store, this is the one here, the one in Chicago, we're living and breathing on a daily basis how we can better serve our guests and give the guests the type of service that they would expect from us. So when we think about innovation, we're kind of also eating our own dog food because at the end of the day, we're a retailer as well. So I want to share a video as it speaks to the user experience. So it's interesting. The team in the UK in Wembley, what they've done there, and what I really like about that video is it's really showing the ability to take NFC passes and show all of the different use cases there. And in this case, we're solving a real world problem, which is getting folks into that stadium quickly. And then when they're in the stadium, using that pass to be able to share with them offers in real time. If they're season ticket holders, you're able to offer them season ticket holder benefits that others don't have, and you can communicate to them while they're actually at the event itself. We touched upon this earlier. When you think about Apple Pay, a lot of people just think about Apple Pay in store. Well, Apple Pay also is in app as well as from a commerce perspective. And the key distinction for both the in-app experience and the commerce experience is greater conversion and easing friction. As well, one of the more recent innovations that we've had is the ability to do Apple Pay Cash. And that's the ability inside of Message to send money inside of Message. So in this case, I am sending $28 to Philip. He received that money. I validate that from the debit and credit card that I already have in Wallet. Philip has received that. And this is an important distinction. What he receives that on is he receives it on an Apple Pay Cash credential. And that Apple Pay Cash credential is a credential that can now be used to tap at any Apple Pay location, as NFC location, as well as both in-app and from a commerce perspective. As well, you can make purchases in-app, as I mentioned, but then you can also transfer that money to your bank as you need to. So Apple Pay, we're really proud of this stat. There's only one other Apple product over the last few years that has a higher CSAT score, and that actually was the AirPods. So we're really proud at Apple Pay of our 97% CSAT score. And Apple Pay is also at scale. So at this point, there are over 120 million active Apple Pay devices that are active in the US alone. And what we're hearing from our merchant acquiring partners is that 90% of the mobile contactless transactions that are occurring today in retail are Apple Pay transactions. Apple Pay is also global. So we are currently at 21 locations. So many of you from the retail side of the equation are global as well. So we are currently in 21 countries. And we just recently announced support in Poland and Ukraine. And we'll be launching that soon. We are currently with 4,000 issuers worldwide. What that means is that there are 4,000 issuing banks that can put a credential into the Apple Pay wallet. And in the United States, we have 98% US bank card coverage. I think my sister and her credit union in Cincinnati may be the lone holdout at this point. And we're at 25 million locations globally. And in the United States, when we launched, we were at 3% of US retail locations, representing about 200,000 locations. And today we believe we are over, and we hear this from our merchant acquiring partners, that we are at over 50% of retail locations in the United States today. I want to share with you just quickly the user experience in terms of what we're doing in app. And this is an interesting feature. What we've done here is we've added the Apple Pay buy button inside, in this case, it's the Lululemon app. And what you'll notice here is actually the buy button is on the product sheet. And the reason we did that is in working with partners, what our merchant partners have told us is they're interested in additional conversion, and they want to do so higher in that workflow. So in this case, it's one-touch checkout. There's no data entry required, and it allows you to pay earlier in the process, not just at checkout. So let's buy with the Apple Pay button. So you click that, and what you immediately see is you get this payment sheet, and this payment sheet is pre-populated with both your credit card information, your shipping information, the method of shipment, and your contact information. And now you double click to pay. You validate with Face ID, and those Lululemon pants are now on their way. That is a very dangerous feature. So for those who are up at night doing nighttime shopping, this makes conversion significantly greater. Today, we're in 10,000 apps, including 85 of the top 100 apps globally. And really, the reason for this is we see higher checkout conversion. That's a frictionless user experience. You're not having to input your information. All of that information is pre-populated. It's pre-populated. You can also change that information. For instance, I was sending a gift to somebody. I can change the shipping information. But what we're hearing from our merchant partners is that we're seeing anywhere from 2 to 5x checkout conversion. And that's appreciable when you think about both in-app and commerce. So I want to shift over to talk about Wallet and talk a little bit about what we are supporting. So when we launched the program in 2014, we very quickly heard from our partners, hey, we love this experience. It's fast, it's secure, it's safe. But gosh, it would be really great if we could leverage Wallet and passes to be able to do additional credentials. And so in 2015, we launched the ability to support rewards cards in Wallet, private label credit card, stored value cards, and we've actually just launched a support for NFC tickets. So in terms of, this is the ability to tap and present your ticket at a Major League Baseball stadium. And as you saw from the video, we have that live at Wembley, which is the national stadium of the English soccer team. So at this point, I want to hand it back over to Dave, who will walk through very specifically the use cases that are supported with an NFC tap, as well as highlight what a feature that we think is a great feature called automatic loyalty enrollment. So back to Dave.
We've been talking about ways brands can increase long-term brand loyalty through digital experiences. So Dave Panic, in the quest of creating a seamless customer shopping experience, what are some new loyalty strategies that Vibes recommends brands to adopt?
Yeah, that's a good question, and Dave Baldwin, great, feed into the conversation we're going to talk about. And one of the things I wanted to highlight, which Dave mentioned in his slide, was NFC tap, right? And so we have a product called automatic loyalty enrollment that we've seen accelerated adoption. And by combining automatic loyalty enrollment with mobile wallet, brands eliminate paper forms. You have instant enrollment through the digital phone. You're able to leverage members' real data versus, the tendency of some enrollees to, print whatever they want or write whatever they want on a paper form. And what's great about this is you can have not only the ability to integrate, but integrate in real time with loyalty systems that brands might be using. And when you have that, then you're able to update things like your points in real time, obviously have the card there and not only push the loyalty when they go in there and scan that, but also associated offers and redemption coupons that might come along with that loyalty program. And of course, with this, because it's part of Wallet, you now have the ability to do notifications, right, and have that two-way conversation of some particular promotion going on, going into a store, doing that, and then also to be able to have that feedback loop as you're making those purchases. And we've highlighted this a little bit throughout the hour, but certainly this provides benefits critical to loyalty success. Dave mentioned this as well. Frictionless is really critical, right? Because that drives adoption of a loyalty program and will drive higher redemption rates. It also allows for quicker loyalty onboarding, right? What is better than to be sitting at the point of sale or within the store to start the onboarding process digitally, be done literally in just a few taps versus having to go through a traditional paper-based approach that could lead to errors, but also lose the frame of interest from that consumer. It's fast, accurate, captures data during that enrollment. And what's great about this is that you can enroll and start the process not just through the one tap at the point of sale, via Apple Pay, but also through SMS, push, email, or using traditional websites by simply clicking on those and then starting the enrollment process. And I'm going to talk you through a little bit now of how that would look. So by combining automatic loyalty enrollment with mobile wallet, you can manage the payments, enroll new members, and create a mobile repository to sort all of your content. So to be able to create this ecosystem literally with just a couple taps is really, really powerful from a mobile device perspective. So let's talk a little bit about how enrollment begins. We highlighted this a couple times, but I think it's really great to be able to take a step back and detail out the process. There's really two ways. The one-step process leverages what Dave was talking about from NFC one-tap tap perspective. You simply tap your mobile phone on the pay device, and that will start the enrollment process automatically. By tapping, they will then receive notification to enroll in a rewards program immediately after they pay with Apple Pay. So once they tap that, they go through several quick screens where they would then enter the information or receive that from their My Card, and then that would automatically roll them within loyalty program, and as well as add the records to the backend loyalty system. The two-step process is if you don't have NFC tap available or ready to go within the physical store locations, it's pretty similar. The only difference is that you're starting by receiving a link via email, SMS, notification, or a website that contains what we call a wallet smart link, which would initiate the same process. So once you see that, you click on the link, and again, it would go through the same process as I discussed in the previous slide. So whether you're using the one-step or two-step, the process enacts a temporary pass. You then go through and make sure your personal information is there and acceptable. You can certainly edit it based on what's in there. Go through the T's and C's to make sure everything is accurate from that particular brand's perspective, and then voila, you will have that digital loyalty card available for use, virtually instantly at that once you're enrolled. You could then use that card. Obviously, you'll see your points updated in real time. You'll be able to go in the store, scan it when you're making purchases, receive notifications, things of that nature. So it's really a very quick and easy way to leverage the digital mobile community to be able to create that frictionless and higher return on your loyalty programs.
Hey, Dave, do you mind if I add one thing to that?
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, so the real key distinction there too is once that pass is in wallet, it is contextual, meaning that I never have to actually open the wallet to present that credential. So imagine that I'm in a Dunkin' Donuts and I tap, it's going to know to send the Dunkin' Donut pass. And then when I walk across the street and I go to Walgreens and I want to present my Walgreens Balance Rewards card, it will know to automatically send my Walgreens pass. So there's this notion of auto presentment and not having to go into wallet, find the pass, make sure that pass is armed, and then presenting it. It's that notion of auto presentment that makes that experience and that user experience a magical one within each of those brands.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it made me realize and remind to myself that there's one more thing too, which is what the creative and the loyalty cards you're seeing on there is auto updatable as well, meaning that as brands want to update, how their loyalty cards might look, or if they want to add additional content associated with that, they can do that through that wallet pass as well. So love to have you all who have joined the webinar to try it. If you simply go ahead and text ALE to 84237, you will be using our own in-store brand called Feather and Fur, and you can see how easy the process is on your own device. So with that, I'll hand it back over to the coordinator.
Thank you, Dave and Dave, for all of your great insights. Just a reminder for all of our attendees, the full recording of the webinar will be made available to you in a follow-up email tomorrow. We'll now move on to the question and answer portion of the webinar. So in terms of mobile channels, how do loyalty programs perform on mobile web and mobile app? Is mobile app a better option for loyalty programs?
Yeah, and I know, Dave Baldwin, I know you definitely have some perspective on this as well, so definitely want you to jump in here as well. The one thing I will say is that loyalty programs will really depend on the behavior of that particular brand and how much consumers are used to, leveraging apps, right? So if someone's used to, for instance, like a Starbucks going in and leveraging the app and using loyalty from there, that is certainly based on the behavior and certainly can drive some of that. But we also seen that where brands have invested in apps, they're not getting what Dave Baldwin described, which is the out of context ability, right? Or in context ability, meaning you can go and receive that loyalty, which drives immediate engagement once you're in that retail store. And so you have a much higher potential of redemption and loyalty by using mobile wallet.
Yeah, Dave, I would agree with that. I think the way we view passes is we actually view passes as complementary. So if you think about passes are simply a digital representation of your loyalty card or a digital representation of your stored value card. And it gives you the ability through lock screen notifications and the ability to dynamically change the pass itself in real time. It gives you just a deeper level of engagement. And I think we think it's easier to get a pass in wallet than it is for someone to download an app. Now, that's not to say that apps are not important, because apps are important. Like in the case of Walgreens, they leverage the pass to give people real-time updates on points. They share offers with them. They even go so far as in many instances to tell them that a prescription may be ready. But at the same token, I can't do commerce inside of that pass. But when I go into the Walgreens app, I can go in there and manage my prescriptions. So that's what I mean of thinking about pass as sort of an on-ramp to the app. You have the ability to really deeply engage with people through a pass. And then if you want to move them along that continuum to an app, you can do that as well. But like I said, we view passes as complementary.
Yep, I agree.
If I don't have value-added services yet, what's the best strategy to enroll my mobile members?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that through a couple of the ways you can onboard. That was described in the two-step process, meaning that if you don't have value-add services, all you'd simply have to do is receive a link, a smart link that comes from Vibes that would start that process, and either through a email, through a mobile ad, through a third-party display ad, through a social ad. Any of those ways can start that onboarding process for both a loyalty card as well as an offer.
From a design if you have more to go for it.
Yeah, I just had one other thing to add. What I would say is, from a value-added services perspective, we've actually been working very closely with the leading terminal and point-of-sale providers to make it sort of standard in their offering. So, if many of you are using Verifone or Ingenico devices or such, all of their latest versions of software actually are VAS supported. So I would encourage you to either reach out to your technology partners and or reach out directly to your terminal partners. And they have dedicated resources inside of both of those organizations that have been working out with us and others really closely to bring this to market. So know that auto presentment descriptor that I talked about earlier, that does require a software update on the terminal, but that's sort of baked into all the latest versions of software from the leading terminal and point of sale folks.
From a design and content perspective, are there any visuals or content items you can mention that will encourage a user to sign up for loyalty? How can the content be made more dynamic?
Yeah, certainly. We work with a lot of our brands to drive a much more engaged experience as they go through that sign-up process. A good example is that if you see an in-store signage and text so-and-so, BOGO type of thing, and you click on that link, that actually might start a very creative mobile, process that gets them engaged to the point that they want to, install a loyalty card or go ahead and receive that offer. A great example of that might be like a spin to win. So when they click on it, they would have a particular game that they play on their mobile device. For example, when they're waiting in line during the holiday season in a particular store, it will settle on, whether they get 10, 15, or 20% off. and then they would receive that offer once they do that spin. Another great way is through reveals. So you can do things where you're rubbing your finger on the phone and reveal a particular offer that you would receive that's individualized for you. And then that would be something that can then be added to your wallet at that point. So there's a lot of ways. It's almost unlimited ways you can, deliver that creative perspective, which just obviously drives a much more engaged experience both for the consumer and that brand.
How do you see automatic loyalty enrollment working with your other products and solutions?
Yeah, it's really a capability that augments our products and solutions. So we talked a little bit about upfront, what we do with mobile wallet, and we see automatic loyalty enrollment really as a way to speed up that process and reduce the friction associated with using mobile offers as well as loyalty cards. When you start to extend it out a little bit and look at the things you can do with SMS, MMS, as well as push notifications, those are just different ways that you can use to start that onboarding process, ultimately to the point that you're using mobile wallet to drive, redemption and higher loyalty membership returns.
So this is a question for Dave Baldwin. Are there any mass beauty brands that you see successfully utilizing Apple Pay or Apple Wallet?
We do. We do not have a mass beauty brand who is leveraging the value-added services experience. We do have folks who are leveraging augmented reality in-app. We do have some folks doing in-app commerce. We have folks doing Apple Pay from a commerce perspective. We really think there's just a great opportunity, especially for the larger beauty brands who have strong loyalty as well as private label credit card and stored value, that it's a great opportunity to digitize that experience and have a one-tap experience. I have a teenage daughter and a 10-year-old daughter, and they were at a beauty brand, I want to say 3 or 4 months ago. And my wife handed me a gift card, a loyalty card, a coupon, and some other piece of paper, and said, now go pay for this, or you go up and pay for stuff. They were at like a little makeup, sort of clinic type deal. And I couldn't believe it. I had 5 credentials that I had to hand over to complete my transaction. So I think especially, for brands that are really concerned about a seamless experience, and it would definitely be something to invest in and think about. We do definitely see a lot of beauty brands doing really great stuff, like I said, with augmented reality and app, in-app commerce, as well as traditional Apple Pay buy button on their website. And they've had a ton of success with that. We just think there's a ton of opportunity for improving that in-store experience as well.
How long does it usually take to mobilize loyalty?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a question for me or you, Dave, but it's when you get into sort of the stages, it's really a maturity point of view, right? There's many brands that we work with, for example, where their consumers are already mobile savvy, and it's a very easy onboarding process for them to begin to accept their loyalty via mobile, and not only to enroll, but also to leverage it right away, right? There are certainly other brands where their consumers, maybe have not been as mobile savvy as before, and so they have to take a little bit more of a step approach to walk them through, get them engaged from offers and content perspective, drive enrollment from there. But like most brands that we work with, or all brands we've worked with, once they get engaged, they find how the ease of use from it, and they want to leverage that.
This is Dave Baldwin. I'd add one thing there, which is it's really about enhancing that experience and sort of jump starting, your traditional loyalty. So, you leveraging all of the existing channels, it's really about communicating this enhanced benefit of, hey, with digitized loyalty, you now get this, 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 and this, right? And it's really about, taking from what could be traditionally a card swipe and or a phone number alias entered at the point of sale, and really putting that power into the consumer's hands and getting that path into wallet. So we think it's a coordinated effort across all of the communication channels, email, SMS, in-store POP, really communicating the value of that. We had a partner in Australia do this, and that partner in Australia, they had done a great job of communicating in store the benefits as well as through all their other channels. And within 2 months, they had exceeded their enrollments that they had projected for the entire year. And part of the reason for that is they'd also operationalized it, right? So that their staff was 100% invested in, hey, this is going to be a benefit to the consumers. Let's make sure consumers are aware of it. So I would say it's a combination of operationally as well as leveraging the existing marketing channels.
Yeah, and of course, with that, you then are able to, leverage whatever channel that particular consumer wishes to prioritize, throughout that digital or that, enrollment and loyalty experience.
How can loyalty programs go beyond just accumulating points for purchases or offers?
Yeah, this is a really interesting question, and we've seen things occur in a number of different ways. Obviously, out of the gate, the more that you can use it when you're going in and selecting and updating your points based on number of purchases your way, it just scratches the surface, right? There's also ways beyond that. When you think about how consumers engage with brands, for instance, and providing points for that. Right, the more social the most social posts you do, right, you can start to leverage points beyond just the purchases. So it opens up the point side of it. Beyond that, you think about just the experience side and what's available to you. Right, now that you have this card installed and ready to go within your mobile device, you think about all the ways that you can drive notifications that are based on location. Where they are in proximity to their retail. You can offer special sales, right, to your high value loyalty members that might be different than your other members within that. So it really does open the avenue and the doors to not only how you drive engagement, but also how you want to leverage those points.
Yeah, we see it not just being about points, but being about experiences as well. I thought that was a really good point, Dave, which is, we've seen folks leverage passes and, different tiers in their loyalty programs to do invite-only in-store events, right? Where store might be closed, but for special users, they get to come into the store and get the first pass at, potentially some sales. We've seen it for special events like the one I went to, that one I talked about at the beauty, at the beauty brand. That was a special event that was before the store even opened. And we were, that was communicated by email, but, you can imagine a scenario where that was communicated by a pass, and then I'm checking in with said pass as well. So we really think there's just, we think points are sort of kind of table stakes, I think, in some instances, but, to really do the program well, I think, you need to challenge yourself on what are some of the experiences I could create? What are some things that would be 100% unique to my brand, right? And are very on point with that merchant's brand identity, and then use these passes as a means to communicate that differentiation to the consumer.
Dave and Dave, before we wrap up, do you guys have any other insights that you'd like to share?
Yeah, the only thing I'll just point out from our perspective is, and we highlighted this a little bit going on. When you think about mobile loyalty enrollment, it's really about how you're leveraging all the channels that are available to you. And certainly with some brands, one channel may be the primary way that is best or most used by your channel. But also think about how mobile loyalty can play a role digitally, but also within the physical world, right? And there's a lot of ways to transform not only what you're doing to paper-based enrollment and paper-based loyalty, but how you also use mobile loyalty to transform that in-store experience as well.
Thanks, Dave. I think, on the Apple side of the equation, I would say this. Think about Apple and what Apple is bringing to the marketplace as a platform. And when we innovate, our innovation is done to hopefully, by leveraging our hardware and leveraging the software that we put into the marketplace, it allows for you to create different and unique user experiences for your guests and partners. And so, really think about us as a partner in this, that we're here to help drive new experiences and drive behaviors that will hopefully drive incremental revenue and increase guest satisfaction. So really think about us as a partner in your journey, and leverage the stuff that we're doing from an innovation perspective to enhance those experiences. And I would just close with saying thanks everybody for joining. Really enjoyed the opportunity to share with you today. Thank you.
Yeah, same here as well.
And I think that's all the time we have for today. So thanks again to Dave and Dave, and of course to our partner Vibes. And thank you all for joining us today. We hope you learned something. Keep an eye on your inboxes tomorrow for a link to the recording, which you can watch on demand. Thanks again, and please enjoy the rest of your day.